Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today we're doing a Mayakashi deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an amazing zombie deck that you can climb into some really cool synchro and even link monsters with. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of the Winged Mayakashi. This is a card you always want to be able to get to in the deck because it's the best normal summon in the build. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon a Mayakashi monster from your deck, except another copy of this card, which is a really good effect to be able to use to be able to get our copies of Daki on the field. This card is definitely a 3 of in the deck and a card you always want to see in your opening hand because it's the best normal summon in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Daki. Daki is one of the most important cards in the deck because it's actually how you're going to climb through your synchro monsters from 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, all the way up into your link monsters, because this card has an amazing ability. You can only control 1 copy of this card. And when a Mayakashi monster is special summoned to your field from your extract while this card's in the graveyard, you can special summon out this card. And that is not a once per turn effect. So as you climb through your synchro monsters, this card is going to special summon itself back to your side of the field every time you synchro and link summon to help you climb into the next one, which is just amazing, making this card a definite 3 of in this build. We then play 3 copies of Yukimizumi, the Ice Mayakashi. This card is a really good 3 of in the deck just to extend your plays, because if you control a Mayakashi card other than a copy of this card, while this card's in your hand or graveyard, you can actually special summon this card, then ascend a zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is a great effect for this card to have to get some of your zombies into the graveyard while also extending your plays. This card is amazing in the deck because if you control a copy of Daki, you can just special summon this card out to your side of the field and then go into your synchro climbing, which is just amazing. We then play 3 copies of Unizombie. Unizombie is a definite 3 of the deck and one of the most powerful zombie monsters ever released because this card is a walking foolish burial that can actually level modulate itself to help you climb into all sorts of really good plays. We then play 2 copies of Mizuki. Mizuki is definitely a 2 of the deck because you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon a zombie back from the grave, which is a really good ability on this card. We then play a single copy of Doom King Ballardrot. Ballardrot is amazing because we do play Zombie World in this build, and this card is really good in this particular deck because it has the ability that during the standby phase, if there's a face-up field spell card on the field, you can special summon this card back from the grave to your side of the field in defense position. And once per turn, once per chain, once per effect, you can actually negate the effect of a monster on the field or banish 1 monster from the field or the grave whenever a zombie monster effect is activated. That's a really cool thing that you can get both of those effects in separate chains, but it's such a powerful boss monster because it can bring itself back to your side of the field every single turn. We then play a single copy of Banshee. Banshee is really good in this deck because you can banish this card to be able to get to your copy of Zombie World extremely quickly. We then play a single copy of Glow Up Bloom. Glow Up Bloom is just really good as a 1 of in this build because this card helps you out so much because it has the ability, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you manage this card from the graveyard to add a level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to your hand, or if Zombie World's on the field, then you can actually special summon it instead, which is a really good effect to be able to get to your copy of Doom King Ballardrot. We then play a single copy of Jacobolin. Jacobolin is just good in this deck as an extender because you can discard a zombie to special summon this card from your hand, and during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can actually target a zombie monster in either graveyard, special summon that monster to the field, but banish it when it leaves the field, then banish this face-up card until the end phase, which is a really good effect. I love this card as a 1 of in the deck, and it's just such a powerful card in this build because it extends your plays by so much. We then play a single copy of Al Ghul Mazrah. Al Ghul Mazrah is really good in this particular build because it's just such a good defensive card that also gets you a boss monster on the field because if a zombie monster that you control would be destroyed by battle by card effect, you manage this card from your hand or grave instead, and if it does get banished from your hand or grave, you can special summon it back to your side in defense, and then it has the ability that reduces its level by 1, which is a really good effect for this card to have because it defends one of your zombie monsters while getting a 2800 attack point monster on the field. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is a really good hand trap that just stops your opponent from touching the deck, and it's a fantastic card in this build. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start off with a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is really good in this deck because it helps you get your zombie monsters into the graveyard extremely quickly. We then play a single copy of 1-for-1. Our copy of the Winged Mayakashi is a level 1, so you can actually bring it to your side of the field off this card's effect, basically being like a 4th copy of it, which is just really nice. We then play a single copy of Monster Reborn, so we can bring back our zombies to our side of the field, which is just really good. We play a single copy of Zombie Reborn. Zombie Reborn is amazing in this deck, so we pull multiple of the same name, which is just really good in this particular build, because it lets you target a zombie monster in either player's graveyard and banish one zombie monster with the same name from your deck or extract, and if you do, special summon the targeted monster to your side of the field, which is a really good effect and basically like an additional Monster Reborn that you can actually use twice because of this card's other ability, which is just really cool. We then play a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is really good in this particular build because it helps you stop your opponent from hand trapping you while you're going in for all of your plays. We then play 3 copies of Zombie World. Zombie World is an incredible field spell, especially in this deck, because it makes so all monsters on both players' fields and graveyards become zombies, which is a really cool thing about this deck. And it's just an incredible card to be able to play in this particular deck. It's just a really cool card to be able to combo with cards like your Glow Blooms or your copy of your Doom King Baller Drop. We then play 3 copies of Mayakashi Return. Mayakashi Return is an incredible rota for the deck. It lets you take any Mayakashi card you want from your deck and then add it to your hand, or send it to the graveyard, which is a really good effect to be able to grab cards from your deck to your hand. We then play 3 copies of Small World. Small World is an incredible card in the deck because the majority of the time in the deck, all your monsters have in common is that they're zombies because they're all pretty much different levels and different attributes, making it very easy to be able to get to your copy of your Winged Mayakashi because it's a level 1 with that's a win, so it makes it very easy to get to your copy of your Winged Mayakashi using Small World. This card is incredible in the deck because all your monsters that have in common usually is that they're zombies, making it very easy to be able to make a Small World bridge in the deck to get to your copy of your Winged Mayakashi, because once you successfully normal summon the Winged Mayakashi, you're pretty much set to go for all of your plays, which is really insane. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. For the traps, guys, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Trap Trick. Trap Trick is an incredible trap card in this deck because it actually lets you banish a normal trap from your deck and then set to your side of the field a trap with the exact same name as the card that you just banished, but you can only activate 1 more trap for the rest of the turn, but that's all we're ever going to need. Because we're going to be playing 3 copies of Ghost Meets Girl, a Masterful Mayakashi Shiranui Saga. This card is an incredible trap card that's essentially going to turn your opponent's turn off. As ability, you tribute a Mayakashi or a Shiranui Synchro or Link monster, and neither player can special summon monsters from their hand, deck, or extract for the rest of the turn. But we usually summon out of the graveyard with this deck, making this card incredible for us and pretty much turns off your opponent from summoning for the rest of the turn. This card is incredible as a 3 of in the deck and pretty much a 5 of in the deck because we do play the copies of Trap Trick in this particular build, and it's just really good in this particular deck. It also has the ability to banish this card from your graveyard and then target one of your banished zombie monsters and then return it back to the grave, which is a pretty good effect if one of your zombie monsters gets banished. I love that about this card, and it helps you recycle copies of Mizuki in this particular build. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with 2 copies of Yugioh, the Absolute Zero Mayakashi. This card is an incredible boss monster to make in this deck because it is a walking negate twice per turn. It is a really cool ability if a monster is special summoned from the graveyard or a monster effect is activated in the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can target one other face-up monster on the field, change its attack to 0, and if you do, negate its effect, and you can use that effect twice per turn, which is really cool. We then play 2 copies of the Icicle Mayakashi. This card is a really good 2 of in the deck, and it's a really cool cool ability that if this card is special summon, you can target an effect monster that your opponent controls and negate its effect, and quick effect, you manage this card from your graveyard to special summon one of your zombie synchro monsters that's banished or in your grave, which is a crazy powerful effect for this card to have. We then play 2 copies of the Ice Mayakashi. This card is just a good 2 of in the deck to help you climb into your other link monsters, but it has some pretty good effects. We then play 2 copies of the Wheeled Mayakashi. This card is definitely a 2 of in the deck, so you're going to use this card to climb through your synchro monsters twice, and this card has a really cool ability. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you actually get to activate the effect that this turn, your monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. And all of your Mayakashi synchro monsters share a common ability that if a synchro monster in your possession with a level that is 2 levels higher than this monster is destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect, or while this card's in the graveyard, you can banish a zombie monster from your grave, and if you do, special summon this card, which is a really cool ability to be able to use with these cards. I love that they replace themselves, and it's just such a cool ability that your 3 lets you special summon your 5 goes up to your 5 goes up to 7, 7 goes to 9, 9 goes to 11, and then 11 actually lets you bring your link monsters back, which is really cool. We then play 2 copies of the Poisonous Mayakashi. This card has a super cool unique effect that if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can have each player send the top 3 cards of their deck to the grave, which can be super helpful for us. We then play 2 copies of the Winged Mayakashi. This card is definitely a 2 of them because if this card is special summoned in the grave, you can actually destroy a spell or trap that your opponent controls, which is a really good effect. We then play 2 copies of Yugioh, the Graceful Mayakashi, which has a really cool ability. If this card is special summoned from the grave, you can destroy a monster that your opponent controls. And then finally, we play a single copy of the Skeletal Mayakashi, which this card is the best one. That if it's special summoned from your graveyard, you can activate this effect this turn, that this face-up card is unaffected by other card effects. I did actually consider playing 2 copies of this card over the Link 4, but you can kind of debate which one you want to play. But for now, I really like the Link 4 because it just helps out a lot more because it's a walking negate. But this card is insane because its super cool unique ability is if a Link monster in your possession is destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect, while this card's in the graveyard, you can banish one other zombie monster from the grave and if you special summon it, which is a great ability. And it's just so cool that if 11, you get to special summon this. If a 7 is destroyed, or a 9 is destroyed, you get to special summon back this, and then 7, and then all the way down to a 5 with this one. Is just super cool about these cards. And I love that if the 1 up is destroyed, then you get to special summon the 1 below it, which is just so cool about this deck. And climbing through the different ranks of these cards is just really, really nice because you get some really cool looking boss monsters that are actually amazing. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Mayakashi before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's just amazing with that trap card, and the link monsters are incredible, and it's very easy to climb through the ranks of your Mayakashi cards to get all your different crazy powerful cards on the field. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.